pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Roll call, please.
Councilmember Bill Reinhardt.
Here.
Vice Mayor Bill Earl.
Here.
Mayor Matt Watkins.
Here.
Councilmember Larry McConnell.
Present.
Councilmember Rick Reynolds.
Here. Public comments. Not seeing any. We'll move on to the consent agenda. Brandon.
Up to that. I'll make a motion that we approve the consent agenda.
Okay. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? All right, new business. Approve resolution 24-9-9 MTTP grant.
Thank you, Mayor Watkins. The city's property and liability insurance carrier, the Michigan Township Participating Plan, offers grants to help reduce risk exposure for its members. As you'll recall, the city's been awarded grants to this program in the past, including Greenwald Park cameras, City Hall cameras, and the traffic control safety equipment that we got last year for DPW. With police moving to their new building, we need to add security cameras to the building. We've received quotes from 4 different companies for that work. The lowest bidder that staff is comfortable with is ASI Security. The second lowest proposal of $17,197.50. The original quote was for $1,700 less for up to 16 cameras. We asked to update that quote to add additional capacity to add more cameras in the future. If we were to combine City Hall and police. So depending on the layout for City Hall, we would likely need additional camera capacity beyond 16. The quote was for 12 cameras. So that would allow us to be able to add some more different angles in the future. The grant will only cover up to $2,500 the cost of security camera projects. The resolution states the city will provide a match of at least $14,697.50 as our commitment to the project. The resolution is required for the city to submit the grant, which is due on the 15th. With the roof repairs and backdoor project complete, there's roughly $34,600 available in the general fund for building line item. If you choose to move forward with the project, it would leave approximately a little less than $20,000 for additional projects.
For buildings, for all buildings. Okay.
City Hall or police.
Right.
There's an additional 5 police budget for that building as well.
Yeah, I don't have any questions. I've also used ASI previously. They've always done a good job for me as well, so I'm not concerned about the extra plus this extra 16 cameras.
I think it's a good idea.
Any other questions, concerns?
No.
We have a motion?
I'll make the motion, we adopt resolution 24-9-9.
We have a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Okay, water and sewer rates, resolution 24-9-10.
Thank you, Mayor Watkins. Along with the city's financial advisors, staff reviewed water and sewer cash flow following the SRF bonds being finalized for a total of $3.055 billion. With the larger rate adjustment we made last year, we can meet our obligations for the debt service payments on the bond with our current rate. However, staff would recommend an inflationary increase due to rising cost of materials, operating expenses, along with chemicals. We'll also likely need to issue a bond in the next year or two for some wastewater treatment plant improvements and updating the lift stations. So if you factor in an additional $3 million, let's say, that would lead to an increase of about 12% the first year. We have bond payment, and then an additional 12% for 4 years, for a total 5% increase for this year, could spread out those annual increases to smaller amounts, or at least help us keep up with rising costs. The resolution was also cleaned up to remove a couple items that are no longer relevant. Those are hashed out in the draft resolution. Questions?
Yeah, you had made reference in here, about the federal congressional funds. Have we heard anything on that?
We have not, but it is in.
Yeah, it's still waiting on both full chambers of Congress. All that was there, it was approved through subcommittees. I guess the process is a little slower than expected.
Right, so that is about a $4.1 million project, and we're asking for $2 million from them, so it'd be over a $2 million commitment from the city at least.
Any questions?
I want to say that I think with inflation the way it's been on people already, I think if there's any way we can afford to not raise the rate this year, because it's not that high anyhow, I think it's a great year to skip it altogether, personally. That's my opinion. Because I mean, how much is that gonna bring in by going up, would you say 5%? Approximately, what would it bring in? On top of
Cash flow. But I'd probably have to get back to you on how much that was.
That's okay, I mean, you're talking 3,000 or 30,000, or you know, I mean, how much, probably just a few thousand, right? Throughout a year, 1 year period?
I'd say whole.
Lori did give us, kind of a potential.
I don't know, I just feel like it's
It's like
something
an
we
extra
could probably
16
eat
cents per
for 1
thousand
year,
gallons,
just to help
an extra
soften
$8.26 per
everything
month
for our
per
citizens.
customer.
I feel like there's so much tension in society right now anyhow, and the water bill's the one I think we complain the most about, so.
Almost $17 per
That's my-
month per customer.
That's my
per
thoughts,
2
and
months
what
per
I've
customer.
heard people
And
complain
when you
most
look at
about.
that billing, I think it does start to add up, the increase that we had on that. But at least this way it's not a huge jump for people.
Did you hear that, Bill?
No, I didn't.
Tricia was just saying that, Lori calculated the numbers and roughly it's about $8.20 a month. So it's roughly, just shy of $17
Every 2 months on their billing.
on the billing.
No, I think it's half that. It's-
Was it the only the $8.26
Yeah, it's like
every 2 months?
4.13% per month,
Okay.
so total about $8 over 2 months.
You know, I
Probably-
apologize. Yes, you're right,
probably
it is
would
2
be-
months that way.
Commodity increase would probably be around $10 a bill. $5 a month.
So would it be a big deal if we skipped it 1 year? I mean, from your end of
Or
things?
bring it back up the first year.
Or bring it back up?
Here,
You take that, I apologize.
no, go ahead.
I was gonna say, you take that, let's say $10, put that out above, about 780 customers every 2 months. I mean, you start looking at that times 6, since we're billing 6 months. That's a significant, I mean, you're looking at, probably $8,000, another $9,000 every year.
My concern is that if we don't do this now, we're just making headway to where we're getting the plants up and functioning and working. And I'd really hate to see us shortcut and not have the funds to keep moving ahead. I mean, we've all been in panic mode the last 2 years of getting the wastewater treatment plant back together and getting it function properly and getting the government off our butts because, we were way over on discharges. And honestly, it stinks, but I'd rather move ahead with it just because we need the funding. If we can't afford to go backwards.
Yeah, and, looking at it from the dollar point of view where it's $10 every 2 months, it's a lot, it's a easier pill to swallow in my opinion, rather than if we have to wait and do this, now you're talking $15, $20 when we do this later, or more, depending on what happens. I'm in agreement, I think we need to do it and kind of just,
But didn't we do it extra high a couple times already?
We had to.
That's what I'm saying,
Keep
so-
moving forward. But we're only keeping up with inflation doing what we're doing, Bill.
correct.
Annually, it's approximately $46,800. And that's spread between water and sewer, that's not just sewer. But of course, all of our chemicals, everything has increased significantly.
Well, and, yeah, I mean, I don't think there's a way we cannot do it.
I don't either.
It's definitely a valid concern, and
Yeah.
it's a tough.
Well, and it's like, I talked to Brandon earlier, it's not my personal opinion, I don't have a problem with it, but that's the thing I hear the most out there that people talk to me about, so I wanted to stand up for them and
Yeah,
do what I was elected to
Yes.
do.
And I read
Yes, and
same way.
Yeah.
here's the other thing that, something we have to kind of think about here, okay, and I understand we have someone that works in that department here, but you recently have 2 people that have passed certification,
Mhm.
okay? Unfortunately, that costs a little bit of money to keep them around as well, so
Mhm.
this increase is gonna go towards that, to help with wages and that sort of
Yep.
thing. Because we don't, now that we're certified again, we don't want either one of those individuals leaving and then putting us back in the hole that we were in.
Yep.
So it is something that we have to consider, we have to, do,
Yeah.
unfortunately.
Well, Bill, consider, I've been on a lot of years, and this has always been the biggest controversy, even when it's only, you're keeping, you gotta keep it solid and fluid with the money, and you're never keeping up anyhow. But I've heard this on years where it's just been a minor increase to try to cover the cost. You'll hear the same amount of people squawk about that because it went up a little bit.
Mhm.
Is, we're probably gonna hear from the same people that we heard from because we had to raise it way up a while back. There's no time that it's ever gonna level off when you aren't gonna do raises. If you look at the sheet that Brandon sent around, you see all the updates on it.
Mhm.
They go way, way, way back, and it's every
Well,
year.
my main point was I didn't want it to just us be yes, and we're recorded where they can watch us, and they say, why are they doing up again? At least we've talked about it,
Yep.
and they can watch and understand now, and it makes more sense.
Coming into winter, there are gonna be some people that, heating bills and that, and now they're raising their, and that's where we're gonna be.
Right.
And timing maybe be that little bit off,
But we're only keeping up with inflation.
I know, but we're also just kind of discussing it, basically.
True.
Yeah, and that's what I was saying, if there is any way we can afford to skip 1 year,
But you guys,
can we? That's
they,
what, let's think about it,
too. Yeah,
but yeah.
I don't
I
think,
understand now.
I don't feel we can. I know I'll vote in favor of this resolution. If you wanna vote against, that's your opinion, your privilege. So,
Any other items for discussion?
No, it's good.
Do we have a motion one way or the other here?
I'll make a motion to adopt resolution 24-9-10.
Second.
Do you have everything in there, do we need to put in a value or anything? You have everything that's listed in there, and you're good to go?
Yeah, in the resolution, there's just, what I presented was kind of a draft, showing you what was being taken out by crossing off a couple of paragraphs. So I would have to we'd have to get a clean copy, but yeah,
Okay.
you can pass it this way.
Okay. So you made the motion.
Correct.
Did we have a support? Bill had a support? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
Aye.
That's me.
Okay, authorization to execute contract for sewer project.
Thank you, Mayor Watkins. Contractor, Visu Sewer LLC for the sewer improvement project. And Avon Marsh are close to having everything that's needed for the contract for the project. They're currently waiting on some documents from the contractor, so it's not ready for your meeting tonight. However, we need council approval to authorize the city manager or the mayor to execute the agreement. Following review from the city attorney. You've previously done a tentative award, however, we still need to have authorization to sign it. The contractor would like to start as soon as it's signed. There would be a pre-construction meeting likely in late September with work starting in early October, or as early as October.
Sooner the better.
They want to get started tonight.
Any questions on that? I don't have any problems authorizing Brandon to take care of that.
I don't either.
At all.
No, I agree.
I'm with it.
We have a motion to execute the contract with the city manager being able to execute the agreement.
I'll make a motion to execute the contract for sewer project.
I'll support.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Okay, city staff comments. Steve?
Well, we're back in school. Things seem to be going pretty well. I've also now got the 5th officer working, so that's helping out on shifts for Frank and I. So we've actually promoted one of the part-timers. He's got time on his hands right now, so moved him in, and things have been working out well. He's out there Monday through Friday from 10 to 6. Thursdays he does work the 2 to 10 shift because that's our short days going into our weekend off. So basically he's working 10 to 6 during the day, except for Thursdays, and it's 2 to 10. So that also helps saves us on overtime on Thursdays, where guys were carrying 4 hours overtime each Thursday. So saving us on that. So but it's given us some time to start working on some bigger projects. I did redo the ceiling in that very back room where the new door was put in. I got the ceiling panels and all the stuff in, so now we're just got to do some paint and then get some flooring in it, and then the room's done. So we're still kind of working with that yet. So I'm hoping to get some paint on it in the next week or two, and then we can figure out what we're going to do for flooring, and then that room's done. You know, then we're good. So we're just still plugging away. Still plugging away. But everything else seems to be going well. I don't have any complaints or concerns unless you guys do. But everything seems to be going well. That's all I have.
Jerry?
Had a pretty good month at the plant. We had IPP, industrial pretreatment. Eagle had a bunch of issues with that they wanted me to answer questions for. I think there's 16 of them altogether. And I got that coming back into them Friday, so they're happy for now with that.
We had all the answers, nothing we were concerned about or anything?
There's more stuff that needs addressed, but all the factories that I've had to deal with have been working good, getting them addressed, so
Yep.
keep moving that forward. Brought up some ex-PFAS reports today. John Holland was down last Friday and showed me how to do them. Caught some on them. Other than that, it's been pretty good month, so. That's all I got.
Wait, once the water treatment plant's a good time.
Well, things have been going good at DPW. We've got parts wrapped up, generators installed last month. We got that all hooked up, still gotta activate it, and that'll be up and running. A lot of odds and ends, a lot of people getting buried for some reason. Been busy with that. We got police station parking lot seal coated. Got some new security lights up for Steve, so it's nice and bright down there.
Yes, thank you.
Other than that, things have been going good. However, we do have a group of individuals, Frank's been made aware, you guys have been made aware, but if you guys could help keep an eye out, we got some kids pulling some catch basins, pulling covers off, just setting them wherever. So we're keeping an eye out for that. They started out here in the parking lot. So far, they've been down Madison, Ruggles, Rudd. There's been a few in the north side of town, but just trying to keep those in place so we don't fall in them. So if you see something suspicious.
Walking,
Moped, wish I knew.
golf cart.
They can do about anything. I don't know, they're not.
Well, they can't golf cart in the dark, so
They're not running
not to say they
around,
don't try.
Removing them from the hole and then setting them in like a gutter pan or up in the lawn.
Those are pretty heavy. You can't just carry them down the street.
Right.
J-Tech, a week ago, and I walked around the building, we got a big cage in there for their power and that. I looked down, and there was one of them covers down from the ground, was laying off to the side, deep down, so there's no ladder, there's no one, it looked like nobody's even there.
Well, I mean, this one out here, this one's out where you drive, so it just takes one car to hit that, and they're gonna break their tire rod or mess their vehicle up.
I went in the office and I said, "Gee, better come out and look at this,
I don't know what time of day they're doing it.
Now they're doing, you say the catch basins, the covering the catch basin or where the manhole goes.
Catch basin down in the gutter pan, grate, they're pulling grates out.
makes me think I want to do that.
You think there's scrappers that are gonna do that and then come around in the middle of the night and load them? And
I wouldn't come back, I'd take it when I pick it out of there.
It's
I
not
think
even
it's a
hardly
group,
worth
I
it.
think it's a group of kids
Yeah,
horsing
probably.
around.
I've seen kids on my Ring camera at 1:30 in the morning running down their street.
your neighbor,
Yeah, that's what I figured, but,
you've caught them on once or twice already.
yeah.
It's becoming quite a nuisance, we've had probably a dozen grates moved, it's just, you know, whole story.
Keep our eyes on
I'm not gonna keep my eyes open from 1, 2 in the morning. Well, when they walk to my backyard, I do tend to know it.
I'll tell you what, I'll come over at 3 o'clock and drink coffee with you, we'll watch.
And that's one of the reasons why
I don't
we.
think you need to do that.
That's one of the reasons why we kind of reached out to the public recently that have cameras. That hey, let us know if you have cameras. That way, if we have something, we can ask you to take a look and see if you'd be willing to share. Because if we can identify these individuals that are out 3 o'clock in the morning, we can start citing them for curfew. At least start getting, getting our thumb on a little bit. We've had a few residents that have called in and said, hey, this is what I've got. Here's my numbers. Call me anytime. Was hoping we'd get a lot more, but I think a lot of people think it's more of an like we have access to their cameras from our police department and we don't. They're providing the video to us if they choose to. They're not forced to or anything. It's all voluntary. So we've got a few around. I wish we had a database of a lot more because we could really start to zone in on a few things and also having some cameras at the police department. We at least we can. Because I've requested to have one mounted to face the main 4 stoplight, so we can kind of catch some downtown activity on camera too. So maybe with that, and then our front cameras outside, on US 12, maybe we can see some kids, running around or kind of where they're going. But we know they're congregating at the house just down the road from Bell, on occasion. They're on the corner of Corey Street and South Walker. So that's been a problem house. So, but yeah. So anybody that's got know of anybody else that's got cameras they're willing to help us, let us know because at nighttime if you see a police car or you see a patrol car or even a car in the dark, 90% of the time it's going to be a police car and the kids just scatter in the dark and it just makes it almost impossible to catch them. You might catch 1 or 2 but you're not going to catch the 7 or 8.
Yeah, there was one night Travis was stopped by for something and we were talking a little bit and there was a green laser light. We figured it was them.
Yeah.
We kept walking down there trying to find it, couldn't find it.
Because we've caught a couple groups where we've caught 2 or 3 of them but there was 8 or 9 of them together and nobody will say who the other ones were.
Yeah,
So we surmise who they are because they all hang out together
yeah.
but they're not talking, at least at this point. So, but
that when that was reserved. By the time you arrived at the house, they'd already scattered down the 2 streets.
oh yeah, they scatter they cut between houses
One
and
step ahead.
they just scatter like mice, and it makes it real difficult to catch them. So
We did catch some.
Brandon?
Just mentioned that we have a master plan open house scheduled for October 4th from 4 to 8 p.m. This will be in conjunction with a food truck rally, and we've also confirmed that we will be having a car show as well that evening. Front lot over here, probably Century Bank's parking lot as well. So please help us get the word out to the public to come in and over there as well. That's all I have. Thank you.
Council comments, Rick? Yeah, question, Bill, you've been up to the farmer's market quite a bit. Anything that can be changed or anything improved, anything that you think the advertisement's pretty good signs?
Just, if they don't know about it, they don't know where it's at. Honestly, I mean, weeks are hit or miss. I've bought some strobe lights, like they're electronic road flares. sign and catch an eye, just doing little things like that, but I mean, all in all, I really, more signage, I don't know, you know.
Anything that we can do to improve for next year.
We could block this road off and send all the traffic through.
There you go, Joe. You got the stuff to do.
Yeah.
Another question, Tricia, forgot to say, how did the election go for you?
Good.
Yeah, last time?
Good, yeah.
Real smooth? You
Yeah.
feel real comfortable, like anything we can do to improve for the November?
No, not really. I mean, I would like to get my election workers in here early. I'd like them to, see the actual accuracy testing, so that they can see that process and what's actually involved in that. They, are not really familiar with some of the processes and things that they should be doing.
Sure.
So I did put together a lot of flip charts for them. I put together a lot of like step-by-step instructions when it comes to pulling some of the reports and everything. I think that was kind of a very foreign concept for them, but based on the training that we had last time, there was a lot of things that I was doing that technically they should be doing. So they weren't as familiar with it and weren't very comfortable with it.
Sure.
But hopefully, having gone through it a little bit this last time, maybe this next time will be a little bit more.
I know it's a little bit off, but is there anything, certainly you can improve on that to help you smoother?
Yeah, no, absolutely. I would love to see more volunteers to work the election. I'd like to see maybe where we have like a morning shift and then maybe an afternoon shift type thing, because that's a really long day to
It
sit
is,
and
for those
do.
elderly women.
Yeah, well, for anybody, you know what I mean? Not just an elderly person.
Keep digging there.
When I was in
Keep digging, Rick. What'd you say about more graves this month?
No, but, you know,
Yeah, I
I
know
would
what you
like
mean.
to, I reached out to my daughter and said, hey, you know, if we have some additional training, would you
Yeah.
be willing to go through that and come in and work like a shift? I even spoke to some of the individuals, that work at the bank, and, you know, like, we pay for this, you get paid, it's not just a voluntary thing. So, you know, they even talked about maybe the next time that there's some training, getting certified in that, to be able to come in and do a shift.
So there is some things you can get in motion.
Yeah, for the next, well, I can't really necessarily do it for this election because we've already had some of that training, but for the next elections that are coming up, I definitely like to see some different people trained in doing some of those things. And like I said, I did put together, which was really nice because they did use them, some of the different flip charts, and I had manuals, and I saw them using those, and
What's the age limit? 18 or older, probably?
pretty much, yeah. If you're over 18 and you can vote, then you can be in here working the election.
Being on city council.
But no, like I said, I'm definitely looking at different things that are useful and tools for them and just visual aids. I had stuff kind of all around and I think that helped a bit for that. And for the farmer's market, as you were saying that, I know that we have worked with the Village of Quincy to get some signs and stuff for the music that we do here. So we could also work with them to see about putting together some signage that we could put up either, you know, as you're coming into the city, leaving the city, maybe something right out here to state there's a farmer's market.
The problem with this sign up here is when you come from the east, you can't see it.
Yeah,
When you come from the west, you got Century sign in front of it, and you're on top of it before you can even turn into it. Is there any way we could cable it over 12?
That,
You gotta
from what
have
I understand, MDOT's really tough about those.
yeah.
Yeah, I'd have to ask, I don't know the rules.
I mean, it's just something for the next year. that we
I mean,
can
it's
improve on.
it's hard to see there.
You probably need an airspace agreement, like what they had talked to us about doing, if we did a sign that would protect.
I wonder if we could do like those poles that you put in that are kind of.
Oh, the big-
almost
the
like
big
a
feather flags?
sail. Yeah, exactly.
They've tried that too, because I'm also on the Chamber of Commerce, and we've tried that too, and it's a tough spot because that Century sign is just, it hides it. And
What about, I mean, kind of going with the idea of cabling it across, but put something right there on the side of Baroni's, right there, and then also just above where the mural is. That way it's high enough as you come in,
On sides of the building.
on the sides of the building right there.
We've had
inflatable, wacky, flailing arm man.
Why not? I mean, people see it.
Yeah.
There's things I think we can do.
I mean, that part of
Yeah,
the
that's the
combine
things-
is here in the yard, you can put a sign on that.
There you go.
I mean, the facility is a great facility, but because it sits behind the buildings, that's always been a drawback of the visibility part.
Get it out.
But it's a great facility, but the signage is the big issue.
I think you ought to park the bucket truck out there for the day and just hang the van around.
There you go.
You sit in the truck the whole time it's out there, so the kids will stay out of it.
Just hook your electric fencer up to it.
Yeah, I mean, I like Trendy's too. We get permission to put them up there, that'd be a great place to have them.
Patrick, whenever you got to say congratulations last month.
Oh, thank you.
So happy to have you aboard. It's going good for you and everything. You still live in Coldwater?
I do, yeah. We're out.
Steve, congratulations, you got 5th officer, huh?
Yeah, we thank you.
Take a lot of pressure off.
Yes.
Larry?
I don't have much, of course, basically everything he said, but, and I've already told you, Patrick, I wasn't behind you. But, I did find out that on the golf cart ordinance, we ended up at, that really benefited Jim Ramsey after his, stroke, that he's able to be mobile now, and that helped. And on the same line, with the county passing the ordinance for side-by-side.
ORVs.
ORVs, I'd like council just put this in their mind to think about. We have a lot of them that could come into town and spend money here. We have a lot of people in town that have those, probably more than what have golf carts. So down the road, it's something that we can think about, maybe expanding a little bit. And I know I was one against the golf cart.
You're the loud name.
So,
You're the loud name.
anyhow, and that's basically all I have.
No, it's a good idea.
And it's something to think about.
Thanks to everybody for what they do. It sounds like it's been a pretty quiet month overall, so that's nice. And-
Don't say the Q word.
Or the pretty,
Uneventful.
we've had a great month. And, yeah, the ORV thing, I wondered why we didn't think about it anyhow before now, but do you see anything, Steve, with that?
I see a mess. We're already having problems with the ORVs coming into town because they think they can.
Yeah.
The speeds, they're driving right down the middle of the road. We're getting people coming in on the west end, they're coming down Albers, coming to the gas station, then going back up Albers, but driving down the middle of the road, doing more than the speed limit. You know, we're getting issues. We're getting them coming on the east side, coming McDonald's, but they're just driving right down the road. You know, like they're driving it like a car, which they're not even supposed to be doing that out in the county. It's supposed to be on the right, the shoulder of the road. But I mean, I live out in the country, and they come by my house 50, 60 miles an hour right down the middle of the road, the side by sides every Sunday afternoon. And they come flying down, so they're not abiding the rules of dirt bikes. Because you got to remember, ORVs include anything that's off road. It could be go karts, it could be side by sides, it could be homemade buggies, it could be the side by sides that are manufactured. It could be just something homemade, so you got some safety concerns, but you also have the noise because they're loud, and you have the speeds because they're not obeying the 15-mile-an-hour speed, but the golf carts are. Golf carts are pretty quiet. You don't hear them. You barely see them. ORVs, I think you're going to open up a big can of worms, but that's just my personal opinion. So, but yeah, we're having some issues with those. We're even having a few issues with the golf carts. People driving down US 12 and crossing where they're not supposed to. So.
I've seen some guy on an electric scooter going right down US 12.
Yeah, there's a young kid that's got an electric scooter that we've had a few conversations with because he's just busting across the sidewalks and not stopping for stop signs and stuff. So we're trying to curtail that, but yeah, that'd be something that definitely would need to think about a little bit more because ORV is more than just side by sides. It's loud dirt bikes. It's
Overall, the golf carts have been pretty good though, haven't they?
yeah, we've only had a few issues. There's one individual that it's causing some issues because he's not following the rules.
Always a bad apple.
It's gonna have to be made an example of, and I think he'll get the clue. But
Jerry, great job with the plant. Things are, I keep hearing how good it's doing there, so keep up the good work. I know it's been a tough road to get where we're at. Got a few more hurdles to get over, but it sounds like we're making headway, so great job there. Joe, looking good, keep it up. Patrick, wonderful having you here. Great job on the golf outing. I had fun. Played my best golf of the year, so. Steve, things are looking good. I see the officers up and about, staying busy.
Yep.
And I saw one today that had one of those nasty little mopeds pulled over.
It's about a daily occurrence with these kids because they don't know how to drive.
Well, and they're worse than anything else as far as zipping and not stopping at stop signs and just.
Yep.
Brandon, keep up the good work. Things are going well. I think we're making great headway, so. That's all.
Yeah, I can't comment on anything else, as I said, so, just keep up the good work, and
Next month, you get to go first.
we'll see you next month. We have a motion to adjourn.
Make motion to adjourn.
Support.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?